Hi, I'm Gary White with Channel 6 Central Kentucky Television. I'm here with Reverend Jewel Brock, and we're going to talk about the Nelson County N.A.A.C.P, which has been reestablished after several years. It hasn't been here in Bardstown and Nelson County. It just has been rechartered as of May 2017, correct? Mm-hmm. And Reverend Brock is going to tell us about the N.A.A.C.P here. So, first of all, tell us about the N.A.A.C.P. What's it stand for, and what are your hopes and goals for it here locally?
Well, the N.A.A.C.P. stands for the National Association of the Advancement of Colored People. It is the primary objective and the primary mission, as the mission statement says, which is also on our dues card, is to ensure the political, educational, social, and economic equality of rights of all people. I want to put the emphasis on all people, and to eliminate racist bias and discrimination. The organization's vision statement is of the National Association of Colored People is to ensure a society in which all, again, individuals have equal rights without discrimination based on race. And here again, I wasn't the person that had the vision to reactivate it here in Nelson County. In fact, I'll give credit to what credit is due, and there's a guy named Brian Rogers, I believe and Brian Wycliffe, and Reverend Roscoe Linton had the vision to restart it. They got the process started, and they had a meeting in January, actually. And Pastor Linton got a hold to the state representative, he's out of Louisville, came and gave us a briefing and came and gave us what we would be required in order to reactivate the organization, which basically you had to start out, you had to get 50 members to join before you can reactivate or request reactivation. So that's kind of how it got started back up.
And there was an N.A.A.C.P. chapter here in Bardstown, Nelson County that ended back in 2005.
Well, best I can tell, it kind of faded out, for lack of better words, around 2005, and so it has the number for it is 3106, which was still on their books and still on that. So we didn't get a new branch number; we just reactivated that chapter.
And what made you decide your group to reactivate at this time?
Well, I don't really know the reason why these guys had a brainstorm to start it, but once it was made aware to me that they was going to try to start it back up, I initially didn't think about it too much. Like, I don't really want to be a part of that because I'm not, a bandwagon person to jump on band. But then as I began to pray about it and think about it, and I realized the way our country is now, I would be ashamed. My mother would be ashamed of me because it seems like we really are going backwards as far as race relations. And I know my mother and father would probably turn over in their grave if I would just sit around and say nothing or do nothing within my power. When I reflect back in American history and in African American history especially, there are many people that died, just for me to have the right to vote. And with the administration that we seem to have now, we're actually seem to be going backwards instead of going forward as it relates to race relations. We're going backwards. So I wanted to be in a position to where if the opportunity presented itself, that I would be able to at least have a voice, have a face, have a number, to be on the side of right versus wrong.
So you said that they had to have 50 members in order to reactivate. So you have 50 members in the membership currently.
Well, actually, we have about 85 currently now, right? And it's
And when are you meeting, and what are your expectations for the next few months with the chapter?
Well, we meet every third Monday of the month at 7 o'clock at the old Union Church, which is First Baptist there on 315 North 2nd Street. We're meeting in that historical building every third Monday at 7. Open to the public, and invited. We're hoping to have a charter dedication program before the end of the year, kind of a semi-formal event where we invite the general public as well as hopefully secure and procure other members as well. The current fee is $30 annual fee. Of course, you can join for longer periods. As a matter of fact, you can join for a lifetime membership if you so desire. But the current annual fee is $30 a year. So we're just there's power in numbers, there's power in unity. So we're just soliciting to anyone to have a desire to want to join and bring ideals and bring things to the table that we can be. One of the main things about the branch couple of main things I want to put a lot of emphasis on the fact that it is not necessarily race oriented. It's anybody, equality for anyone, and then there's, like I said, there's power in numbers. So we right now the membership ratio is probably about 50-50 with white and black. So. And the beginning of it, the reason why they started, if you go back into the history in 1909, why it was started, contrary to maybe even people thinking or believe, but it was started by white men and women in 1909 because of the unfairness of the enormous of hangings that was going on in the country at that particular time, and they was discouraged about it, so this is when they started. They had a meeting in New York in 1909, and they established the N.A.A.C.P. to be able to be a voice to speak out against such tragedies, the things that was going on at that particular time.
Yeah, it's about 108 years ago it was established.
No, 1909.
Right. Yeah.
Oh, well, I guess it is. And there's 2000.
Yeah, so 108 years ago that the actual organization nationally. Yeah. And again, it has been established now here in Bardstown, and you're looking to do some programming, you said, by the end of the year. What are some of the other long-term expectations or goals for the group?
Well, actually, the focus of the branch is a branch oriented towards the community, doing things to help within the community. One of the things that kind of caught my attention a few weeks ago was reading an article in the paper where Donnie, I believe his name, was giving out
Narcan.
No, well, not Narcan, but the needle exchange. And I thought that we could possibly be a part of that as far as assisting in the purchasing of some of those needles, realizing I know different people have different opinions and ideals about it as far as being an enabler for a person to use drugs, but I believe it'd be something, I think it's a good program because you're not going to stop that way, but at least you've got a program because when they do volunteer to come there, they offer them counseling, they offer them hepatitis tests, so they make themselves available if the individual decide they want to get off the drugs, make counseling available. So we talked to him and looked at trying to support that, and then through him I ended up coming being a part of what they call the PATH. I don't know if you ever heard of the PATH Coalition. Right. Which is a conglomeration of different units and businesses. So we're kind of jumping on board with them as far as trying to help them, all these different agencies and whatever they might be doing in order to do positive things within the community. So that's one of the things. That's primarily what we're focusing on, is trying to do stuff within the community to facilitate and to help in any way that we can, and also be an agent for if persons do have problems or have issues or have situations or circumstances that come up in their particular workplace or in their wherever they might be as it relates to race relation, have a voice for them to be able to share, and to bring that to focus and try to resolve the issue that it might be taking place in their lives.
Yes, so an opportunity for individuals who need some help with.
Absolutely. In fact, one of my executive persons just shared with me a couple of days ago through social media that someone had reached out to them as it relates to someone in the workplace locally here in Bardstown being hangman's noose being raised in front of them. So, but in the past, see, they had nobody to talk to about that. They had no one to go to. I'm sure they might have thought about going to their own company's HR or whatever, but at least now, if a person's experienced that, irregardless of race, creed, or color, any type of discrimination, then they've got a voice that can speak for them locally. Then we also have a state. Kentucky has, 120 counties in Kentucky? There's actually 35 branches in Kentucky that is active, and then of course you have you can reach out to the state for a voice. You can reach out for the national office for a voice. So if anyone experiencing any discrimination in Nelson County, you now have a voice of someone that can bring whatever's going on to especially with social media, to light, with the intent hopefully to resolve and to educate. And that's one of my biggest pet peeves is we are not educated as it relates to race inequality in America. In Bardstown, wherever you might go, we're very uneducated about it. Yes, sir.
Now you're saying people can reach out. How can they get in touch with the NAACP?
That's a great question.
Do you have a Facebook page as well?
We don't have that yet, but we're establishing that right now. We have someone working on establishing that. She said she should have it done in a couple of weeks. We're also working on a complaint form, and hopefully we can get it to where a person can receive it through the email. So we are in the process of making ourselves available. We're also in the process of trying to get an established telephone number that they can call into and leave a message or whatever the case may be. But maybe I'll come back to you once we get all that in place so
Absolutely.
We can let everyone know how they can actually get in contact with them. Matter of fact, I'll share my number now, because if you have issues, you can just call me. And my cell phone number is 502-296-1969. So you can call me, text me, and I'll sure to get back to you as far as if you have an issue and/or concern until we get an official number. Yes, that'd be perfect.
And that's Reverend Jewel Brock that you can reach out to there. And when you do have some more information, we'll be sure to share that as well for other ways to reach out. Or you could go to one of the meetings. And membership is open, as you said, to anyone, correct?
Everyone and everyone, irregardless of race, creed, or color. We open to everyone because we're about equality. We're not politically affiliated with any nominate a party. We just the organization is strictly about equality across the board with everyone.
And again, the meetings are on the third Monday of each month, and the location again?
Union Church, which is 315 North 2nd Street, which is right across from St. Vincent de Paul. The old church at 7 o'clock, 7 p.m. We try not to be in there no more than an hour. So if you're interested in coming, and this block off an hour is all the time we have. We want to, of course, we can stay and talk after the meeting, but we try not to have the meeting no longer than an hour.
And if you want some more information, you can go to one of the meetings, find out more, and then if you so choose, you can sign up for membership, which is about $30 a year.
Right, correct.
Great. And again, I've been talking with Reverend Jewel Brock, and it's about the N.A.A.C.P. reinitiating their chapter here in Bardstown and Nelson County. Membership is open to anyone who is interested. And when you get some more information, we'll share that out for everybody else. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you. Thank you for having me.
This has been Gary White for Channel 6 Central Kentucky Television.